What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Nobody's here yet. I'll give y'all some time to come into here, if you will. I know I was going to go live earlier. I just posted that one song, but wasn't quite ready to come live. But now I am. So here I am. Let's get some people in here, man. Come on. Julie, I got one person. Sup, Julie? How you doing, sweetheart? Hey, Shauna. How you doing, dear? My love. OG Nanny, how you doing, sweetie? Marsha. Yeah, I faked you guys out earlier. I was going to go live, but I just really wanted to post that song. Angel Loader, a joy seeker. How you doing? Good to see you. I'm going to be with you for a while today because it's only 1:50. And I got till 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, however long my face lets me talk, I will be here. Hey, Christy Tender, good afternoon, Mab. Yeah, I am more shocked. I mean, this Charlie Kirk thing has affected me way more than I thought it would. I thought I was over it. Oh, how'd your heart doctor thing go, Christy? Keeping us on your toes, yeah. I'm glad you guys come in and watch me. I really appreciate that. I'm new at this, I'm just an old dude that is trying to do this YouTube thing. I'm coming on here more often and I've made a commitment to do it, which means I'm adding to the load of things that I actually have committed to do, like paint the house, fix a new tractor, landscape the front yard, landscape the backyard, put together the chipper, uh, fix the crane. Oh, I got shit. I got 5 years of projects ahead of me. They have not found the guy, but they do have video. My thumbnail actually shows the guy in pretty good. Let's see if I can bring you up a picture of the guy. Let's see. Share screen. How about we just share the entire screen? I'll share this screen and then I'll go to photos. I think, let's see, where, right here. This is a guy right here. Pretty good shot. I think we'll have him in custody soon. Oh, you can't see shit, can you? Wow. I guess the photos, can't see that. Oh, yeah, you can. I got two screens here. I'm just learning how to use them. So we got a pretty good shot of the guy. There he is, younger looking guy, had a shirt on that, looked like he was a MAGA guy. I think it was yeah, get him up on the roof and running after he took the shot. Yes. They found the rifle. They found the shell casing that was still in the rifle. It was a bolt action rifle like mine. So he had 3 in the clip and 1 at the top that was shot. He took 1 shot. He was probably aiming for the head, missed and hit him in the neck, which happened to be a jugular vein shot. And I think Charlie was probably did not feel, if he felt any pain, it was for only 1 or 2 seconds, because by the time he hit the ground, he had to have been deceased. Ex-bootlicker, how you doing? I haven't seen you before, have I? I don't think he was a professional. I think he was just a hater. Yeah, just a hater. And you don't have to be, you know, there's thousands of hunters that are good enough to make that shot. All right, we got 15 people. That's good. I got some videos queued up. We're going to cover this. I'm here, Mr. and Mrs. Mab. I wish I had Mrs. Mab with me, but she is at work cleaning people's teeth like she does every day. She brings home the bacon, and I fry it up and make BLTs. No, she actually makes the BLTs too. I'm just the house husband that works on all the shit. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up or say yes. Hey, Shani, what up? So now I got my other screen over here where I can actually see the videos that I'm playing and see how it looks on the StreamYard at the same time. I'm going to try it. Tattooed Rebel. Hey, Tattoo Rebel, I believe there's more involved than just the shooter, man. I believe so too. I think he had a couple people in the audience that were distractions or gave signals. I believe you, Rebel. I think it was and then there was, I believe, I just lost the thought. I believe there was a guy that claimed to be the shooter and as a distraction so the other guy could get away. So let's look at a video, but I don't know which one. Let's see. Manhunt. Let's look at this one. All right. Manhunt. We'll look at this one. The old man that said he did it, I believe he was the guy talking to him at the time of the shooting. That could be. Hand signals. 3 guys on stage with Charlie. Yeah, this was an operation, in my opinion. I don't get into politics much because some people get so butthurt, and I don't know how to have an open dialogue these days. I don't want to get locked up for punching someone, Shauna. Well, Charlie was the actual guy who knew how to talk to people. The trigger word signal. Trigger word was signal to shoot. Yeah. Deep state, probably an element of that. But let me see if I can share screen here and play some of Benny, I think. Let's do this. Yeah, so I can actually see.
The FBI just had a press conference. It was live a few minutes before the show. And so we're going to watch these together, ladies and gentlemen, as the FBI, who at this moment
Good to see you, Vibrator.
does not have a suspect in custody. I will admit to you, I do not wish to engage in wild speculation here, but something is very, very strange about this. It is not what happened in Butler.
This guy's one of my favorites, Benny Johnson, and he was actually a very good friend of Charlie Kirk. In fact, could be bootlicker. MK Ultra is a real deal. It's so crushing watching videos of Charlie and his family. Love Stan, yeah, you're right. Let's hear.
It was a single shot, captured from many angles.
One shot.
As far as I know, there has been no footage released on social media of the shooter, but the FBI does have footage. And they have information. So we're going to go from the FBI first. Then we're going to cover what Steven Crowder released this morning.
So this is kind of old.
And then we're going to cover what some experts are saying about whether this was a professional hit job, potentially something that is far beyond what we've seen in this country in a very long time.
Pick up the speed a little.
Which is a state actor assassination. That's not my speculation. That's someone with direct access to the FBI, and we'll play you all of the clips. It's John Solomon. But let's begin with the FBI this morning. The shooter was on the roof. The shooter was on the roof. Let's go. See here? You can see here.
There he is, prone position, ready to shoot. These guys are walking up. Now, if I saw that, I would immediately alert the police, because I know that Charlie Kirk doesn't have the resources and to have snipers on the roof to protect them. So I would have immediately alerted police, but these college kids didn't.
All that we have thus far, small blips of a very dark shooter on the roof, clearly wearing black. The FBI has images and has tracked the movements of this assassin. Go.
Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities.
Yeah, Tucker needs to be protected at all costs. I mean, there's a lot of guys that they want to take out. I bet that they would want to take out Steven Crowder, Tucker Carlson, anybody who's a figure on the right. I don't even like it to call it the right. On the common sense side of things, they want to take out. And Charlie Kirk was a big target because he was actually making a difference. He was going into the den of vipers, the actual universities that program these kids to be left-wing activists. He was going into those places and changing minds. So he was very dangerous to the left. And that's why I believe they targeted him.
He's trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media, and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
This is over.
The FBI has palm prints, fingerprints, and DNA evidence of the shooter. What you just heard there is that they have the shooter crisply and clearly on multiple angles of security tape, and they are now engaged in a massive...
All leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that.
And it is often his events are staffed with law enforcement, as this event was. So to be able to evade all of that, to be able to get a single shot, not one shot, this shooter was not going for mass casualty, was not going for terrorism, a single shot, it was one, according to all available evidence, a single round from 200 or more yards, without anybody accurately capturing or noticing the shooter. And then the shooter disappears and is currently still unapprehended. yes, there is reason for people to believe that this is a professional hit job.
I think it is.
John Solomon is an excellent reporter, and Steven Crowder has some leaked information. I want to talk about both. I want to begin by saying that I'm very, very close with Charlie and his team, and here's what I wish to relay to you from them. That there is some considerable evidence that there were state actors involved here. That's it. I don't want to go any further than that. I can't go any further than that. That is all I
think they have some signals intelligence that signals intelligence that may support state actor involvement.
That is what I've been told. It is not like this is exclusive to me necessarily. John Solomon said it last night on Sean Hannity's show. Here we go.
And we all lost, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, we lost something important in America today. But the case goes on. The investigation goes on. There's a lot of piecing of evidence together. We don't have a shooter tonight. We have a couple leads, a couple people that were released that probably aren't the shooter. There's a couple hot leads. There's a little bit of foreign intelligence. And I think over the next couple of days, we will learn a lot more. And hopefully we will bring to justice the evil person who did what they did to Charlie today.
Okay, here's the Steven Crowder email that was somebody screenshotted to him. Right here.
From this morning. Let's go ahead and read. Approximately 12:24 p.m., conservative political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University. Kirk was speaking at the university as part of the American Comeback Tour. Again, this is from the DOJ.gov full report. And they talk about what they found. Let's jump to what they found. Agents responded immediately. The suspect fired one shot from an elevated position on a rooftop adjacent to the building. On the campus surveillance video shows the suspect jumping off and fleeing the area on foot. ATF and other law enforcement located an older model imported Mauser 30-06 caliber bolt action rifle wrapped in a towel in a wooded area near the campus. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. Spent cartridge was still chambered, in addition to 3 unspent rounds in the top of the magazine. All cartridges were engraved with wording on them, expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology.
Just like that last shooter, that last trans shooter had marked up the gun and all that.
An emergency trace has been submitted to the ATF. Working on leads generated by the trace, the firearm and ammunition have been taken by the FBI in DNA analysis. For fingerprint impressions upon completion of the forensics, the firearms will be disabled. For additional importer information, multiple people of interest have been contacted and detained because eyewitness testimony and review of video footage. Primary suspect has yet to be identified. ATF is assisting in the investigation. Multiple other federal, state, and local law enforcement.
Yeah, I can believe that, bootlegger. Deep State is losing the narrative for sure. Release list of elites. There's nothing to hide. Unredacted. We need to uncover who these deep state actors are, what the funding mechanism is behind it, like the Soros group and all that crap, and we need to freaking take them down. This is getting way out of hand.
We just witnessed in Minneapolis a transgender shooter who massacred children praying in church. I want to proceed with caution here because we have not heard this directly from the FBI. I'm not questioning Stephen's reporting at all. In fact, the vast majority of this seems to be totally corroborated, with the exception of the engravings of transgender and anti-fascist iconography on the bullets themselves.
But
if that is in fact the case, then you will be able to see precisely what radicalized terrorist network
state actor is. What is a state actor? It's a professional. Is what I think that means. Anybody in the chat? State actor, professional hitman.
Stole Charlie Kirk from us. You will be able to see with your full eyes what movement, what degenerate and dangerous terrorist movement is here to attack Americans who wish to live peaceful lives and save this country. You'll be able to see full demonic evil on display, and we'll be able to understand exactly what we're up against. Ladies and gentlemen, the FBI is asking for help in identifying a person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. Here it is from Salt Lake City, Utah. This has been sent to us directly by the FBI and our contacts inside of the FBI. And so they are urgent. They are asking urgently for assistance in finding this individual. What can we see here in this image? And let's make it as big as possible on screen. We see a white individual who has dark sunglasses. There's a black long sleeve shirt on with what seems to be an American flag, perhaps an eagle on that shirt. It is not it is clearly security camera footage. This individual looks to be wearing a pair of jeans, white tennis shoes, and a dark hat.
Black Rock Vanguard, is that the... What do you mean by that, bootlegger? Ex-bootlegger.
The FBI says in its post, we are asking for the public's help in identifying this person of interest. Please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Digital media tips. There's a link there. Is this the only images that have been sent? This is it? Okay.
You should be able to identify this guy pretty quickly.
So here we have it. At the very least, we can see images of who they believe could potentially be behind the shooting. There were 2, as far as we know, there might have been more, false apprehensions yesterday by law enforcement, which makes all of this extremely mysterious to me. It makes me angry. It makes my blood boil. There were individuals who allegedly put their hands up and declared that they were the shooter.
Now that's a distraction designed to let the guy get away, in my opinion.
And said so very loudly and publicly after the shooting. Was that an op? Was that something that was that happened in coordination in order to confuse law enforcement at this time? I don't know. It's mere speculation.
I like bootlicker more and more as he keeps chatting.
But I do know that something truly evil has happened here. Something that clearly...
No, it wasn't the healthcare CEO. It was the kids that were shot in the Catholic school by the trans shooter that she had a manifesto and had marked up the weapons.
Was...
Hey, Pac-Man, what's up?
A black hand.
Good to see you, buddy.
Of a demonic force that we have been talking about and fighting for the existence of this channel and been fighting with you. Producers asking live here, is that all the information that we have thus far? Okay, that's it. So this is the most recent information. We brought you everything that we can. Again, I've been sent this directly by our contacts inside of the FBI. They are asking for assistance here. Please.
There are some better resolution images of this.
Please share this far and wide and give and pour as much assistance into the FBI as possible in order to find this person of interest.
I mean, just by this, you're going to have facial recognition programs working. This guy's not going to get away.
They say. A quick thank you very much for that. That is the number right here. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Sources tell Fox News. This is just sent in by our producer. We're getting it. Obviously, we are in a live news environment right now, doing our very best to what must.
This commentary, Benny, don't strike me, brother. All right? I watch you all the time.
What is the responsibility that we have right now? Honor Charlie Kirk's legacy, eulogize him and canonize his life, declare him an American martyr. I've tried in my own humble way to do that as much as we possibly can, putting the full force and muscle of everything that we have here behind that. The next object of business is what killed Charlie Kirk. We must search it out, and we must destroy it.
I'll tell you what, in my opinion, what killed Charlie Kirk was the rhetoric that the mainstream media keeps shoving down your throat if you even watch it, which I don't, and y'all shouldn't watch it either because it's all bullshit, that common sense Americans that are patriotic are fascist, Hitler, crazy people that need to be taken down. Nuts.
And so we have tried to balance that on this program, ladies and gentlemen, and this breaking news from Fox News sent in by our producers. may well assist in that mission. Breaking sources tell Fox News that messages were found written on the gun and the ammunition used in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This matches Stephen Crowder's reporting that there was transgender and anti-fascist, and what is anti-fascist? Antifa iconography on the bullet casings of the firearm. This also has a bone-chilling effect, as it also matches the shooter in Minneapolis, who also wrote and transcribed a number of homicidal, anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-Trump messages on their firearm. We'll put that up, ladies and gentlemen. We happened to be on a short break from the show when that happened. We obviously did pieces on it, but we didn't talk about it on the stream. So I want to show you perhaps a connection. Let's listen to the reporting here from Fox News, and then we will show you what we know. Again, we'll show you the firearms of the Minneapolis trans.
Yeah, there has been 3 trans mass killers versus hundreds of young white mass killers. Why the media interest in the trans community? Just an honest question. I think it is, I don't know. I think it's not by the numbers. It's something that stands out among all the white, young, mentally ill mass killers. It's something that stands out among them, I believe, that they're trying to focus on. I don't think most trans shooters are trans, that's for damn sure. Hey, Undercover Mermaid, good to see you. It was a hitman paid by someone who was able to get away. Yeah.
Gender mass shooter who shot up and massacred a church full of children. This shooter shooting into a crowd of students and young children. Here's the report.
Federal sources confirmed to Fox News that messages were found written on both the gun and the ammunition here, and those messages are currently being reviewed by investigators. We can't confirm what were in those messages, only that messages were found scrawled on both the gun and the ammunition that investigators have found, and that is under review right now. That gun will be having what's known as an urgent trace by the ATF. That is when they're going to try to find out where the gun was purchased, when it was purchased, what the possible chain of custody was. Keep in mind, the FBI also announcing earlier this morning they found a partial palm print. They also found some footprints, and they do have good surveillance video of the suspect. They just say they're not going to be releasing that video right now. They say those images show that person, whoever.
There's
You
your
can see obviously the gender equality, defend equality with an AR-15 there.
gun from the
And you can
Minneapolis
see K, Donald Trump. I don't even want to say it.
Catholic shooting.
And there is a enormous preponderance of further messages, anti-God messages, anti-Christian messages. There was true evil scrawled on the weaponry of this individual.
But I want to address bootlegger's mess. DEI was a BlackRock idea to divide us up. Well, while we are fighting our neighbors. They're going after the world's rare earth minerals. So I agree with that. I mean, BlackRock, they wouldn't give money to certain corporations unless they check the DEI box. And what was the thing what did they call it? The score on the I can't remember what they called it, bootlegger. What was it? The freaking I can't remember what they called it, but it was they gave you a score. Corporations got a score, and they didn't get money unless they did the DEI.
And so it seems to match. What does not seem to match is this, that this was not some type of random and sporadic. Thank you, producers. Thank you. Put that up. This does not seem to, the thing that this does not match is that it was sporadic. So in case you're wondering if there's a scourge of this violence upon our earth, yes, there is.
There's not a scourge by trans people.
My producers have sent in one more report from Fox News on the FBI's identification of a person of interest. We're going to play this. ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that at least on this stream, we have as much information as possible out to you. Here we go.
Our show producers are going to work diligently to share that image with our viewers. Harris, back over to you.
Yeah, and we are putting up that image of the person of interest CV right now, and we will continue to do that. They are looking for the public's help now. They have obviously tightened their net around the suspect, and the public can be of immediate help just in cutting the
Vibrator, my platform it's not going to be, I'm kind of like Charlie Kirk. You don't have to agree with me to be in here. If you disrespect one of the other subs or chat members, or you're being an asshole, you might get blocked. But other than that, all opinions are respected. But I agree with you. 3 trans mass killers versus hundreds. Yeah, that doesn't equate. I think they're pointing it out because it's been of late. There has been, the latest couple or 3, I don't know how many.
timeline. They are going to get this guy. 800 call FBI, and the image that you want to keep that we'll keep up on the screen as long as possible is there too. We're also, and I'm kind of saying this to you, but also asking our team wider who's listening to flood our social media with this. All platforms are outnumbered right now as well.
Oh, did I put the wrong one? This guy is a sniper, and he's kind of breaking down. Groomers in the public school have got a 25-year just on this country. I don't get what that means. 25-year start? Yeah, had to have been trained enough to make a 200-yard shot. He missed. I think he was aiming for the head. And get away. Yes, it's not your typical psychopath, man. You got that right. No, I don't think so, Vibrator. That's possible. That him wanting the Medal of Military is, or out of women's sports or whatever, or out of the kindergarten classrooms doing training hour. Yeah, could have been any of those things. Wait, I didn't fucking share the screen.
You said, but because probably goes on to talk about the importance of free speech. I was a fan of Charlie Kirk, not because I agreed with everything he said, but because I'm a fan of anybody who has the bravery and courage to get up and say something that is uncomfortable, that's hard to hear, that everyone won't agree with, that some people will want to kill you over.
You bootlicker, that's my occupation, fixing problems, all kinds of problems. Any problem I come across, actually, and I haven't failed yet. I got one kicking my ass right now on my tractor, kicking my ass. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to.
And it finally caught up to him. So first thing is I respect him. I don't agree with everything he said, but I respect him. And this is an important moment. And I think this is a turning point in our generation's story, really. So for me, I've just watched this play out over the past few hours, trying to piece together what's happening. Like, I'm most interested in, is this a lucky shot or is this planned, intentional? That's kind of just what I'm interested in. As a prior Marine Corps Scout sniper, Force Recon Marine, I'm interested in people who, it's painful to say, but I'm interested in the craft of killing, death. I'm interested in how people pull it off. I'm interested in modern day assassinations. And on one hand, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I imagine Charlie Kirk's beautiful kids watching this.
It's a tractor vibrator. It's a freaking Genma 254 with a 3-cylinder diesel. Should be simple, right? Not simple. First time I got it running, it was a runaway because one of the barrels on the high pressure side of the fuel injection pump was open and was pumping fuel into it, so it was a runaway. I put the second, I'll talk to you about that later.
In seeing their dad, and it just breaks my heart. On the other hand, this is what I do. So I just pieced together all the videos I could find in real time as I kind of watched it unfold. And for myself, I'm trying to understand what the truth is. And so this is kind of how things unfolded in the past few hours. So the first videos I came across on Twitter was, of course, Charlie arriving, and this venue is huge. But already, I know I saw, obviously the first video I saw was him getting shot. Which is right. We're not counting gang violence. Great. Great. My first thought is it's a single shot. It's well placed, not perfect, but well placed enough to be like, okay, that's not luck. We have to take a position. Is it luck or is it not luck? And one single well placed rifle shot in a venue like this, where a rifle is hard to get through, navigate, and to conceal, and for it to be well placed, it was effective. It did hit him. It did kill him ultimately, and they're still looking for the suspect. So that all tells me is it's not luck. And of course, the first suspect that they thought it was this goofball. How dare you! How dare you! But when I saw that, I was just like, there's no way, if we take the position that this is luck, or it's not luck, then there's no way this guy did it. He's a goofball, he's overweight, he's old, he was in the middle of the crowd. Where's the rifle? They're even saying, like, the police are saying, we don't know it's him. Like,
this guy might have claimed to do it, but he didn't do it. He may have been a distraction. Vince Flynn died way too young. They don't want people to read the book Term Limits by Vince Flynn. Wish we had more of those term limits.
You're damn right you don't know it's him. Where's the long rifle? That would be impossible to conceal.
I think he probably got that rifle up there prior to the event, in my opinion.
And, some people just will do anything for attention. And I think that's one thing that I just came to realize really quickly is, okay, this guy, apparently this is him, transgender.
Oh my God, really? Is that the same guy? Is he pregnant? Trying to act like he's pregnant?
This is a lot of allegation, or like, I don't know the facts of everything. This is just what was presented on Twitter in real time, so could be wrong. But ultimately, the point is, I don't think that this guy, at the time, I was like, this guy's not the main suspect if this was in fact not a lucky shot. This was intentional. Gang violence. Great. And then secondly, that's a rifle shot overhead. Great. But the thing is that's interesting is that it's an open shot. It's not suppressed, and it sounds like it was shot in the open, like open space. It echoes the way it reverberates throughout this auditorium. It kind of, and I have a map right here.
Right.
The auditorium kind of sinks down, and if it was a professional sniper, they would be inside a building, shooting from inside cover, and that would absorb a lot of that kind of reverberation. It would sound a little different. This shot sounds like it was shot like in an open field with unsuppressed rifle, about a 5.56 caliber.
Building right
and
here.
So then there's this mixture of professionalism and unprofessionalism,
No,
which is the most interesting part about this. So the shooter is competent enough
right
to
the
get the shot. Of course, it wasn't, and we'll see later, it wasn't perfectly placed. It was well placed, but not perfectly placed. It got the job done. But if it was, this is 200 yards. A 200-yard shot with a long rifle, you should be able to place that on a penny, exactly where you want it. And it was low. So let's go back to the video and keep watching.
He did it. I think.
This video is of them carrying away the first suspect. And then we have the videos of them taking Charlie to the hospital.
He was already dead by that point.
And then we'll come back to this because this is the venue shots. And so this is the old suspect. They take him away. You hear the police saying, we don't know if it's him. We don't know if it's him. Let's hear that.
We don't know if it's him or not.
We don't know if it's him or not. You can hear the police. So they're kind of frustrated, but this guy just clearly wanted attention. perhaps if this is some elaborate thing, he was paid off to get attention, but that would create too many rabbit trails. As soon as there's money involved and people can follow money in bank accounts and payments, you're smoked. So
30.6, you're right.
but who knows? I'm just thinking in real time.
Oh, that guy.
So then they get into this is the immediate reporting afterwards. And I was starting to listen because I'm trying to understand, okay, what are people on the ground saying about what they heard, what happened?
Yeah, I agree, Neil. Not a transaction. It looks more like a hitman. Link to this video in the chat.
Do say they did hear just one shot.
The guy. I don't think he did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter.
So you got two clips that I found important. Was one, it was a single shot that no one heard two shots. So one single shot. That's a sign of competency.
A shooter.
When you heard the shot, did it sound like it was close, near to where he was speaking, or did it sound like it was coming from afar, maybe in the back of the crowd, or could you tell?
No, it sounded like it was the back of the crowd, which was pretty wild. I don't know though. It's like it must have been closer, but then again, it's like if it was that close, how did nobody else?
It's the telltale sign of a sniper. People are amazed about how accurate it was. It must have been close, but it sounded far. It was clearly far. I mean, if you go back to the shot over again,
Not counting gang violence. Great.
you can hear it come overhead, but it's close because the impact it follows the shot so closely. If it was a really long distance, you'd see Charlie, his head would whip back, he would collapse, and then you would hear the sound a second later. But this is close.
Good chance he's former military. He's the right age. No, I don't think he's transgender. I think he was paid to do it.
Not counting gang violence. Great.
Immediately, it's bam. Oh, first his head jerks, which would make sense because the bullet's traveling faster than sound, so he would have no chance of hearing it. The bullet would hit him, lights would go out, and then you would hear the sound. And that's exactly what happened.
Counting gang violence. Great.
His head jerks, and then you hear the sound, and then it hits an artery, which hits this artery right here. Immediately, just pints and pints of blood are pouring out. Very, very, very low chance of survival. The thing that's interesting though is the bullet wound was, and I'm blurring it here, but the bullet wound is if it was a bigger round, even a 308, there would be, I think, a little more swelling, a little bit more like a vacuum implosion. When a big round enters a vacuum, it goes inside and sucks a bunch of air in, and then the air explodes and expands out, and there's a lot more trauma and swelling.
That bigger round right there
enters a vacuum.
I think is a 308 because I have a 308 and
it goes inside and
I actually have a sniper rifle, so yeah.
And sucks a bunch of air in, and then the air explodes and expands out, and there's a lot more trauma and swelling. But this round looks like a 5.56 type of round, a smaller round, but enough to do a lot of trauma once it gets in.
I don't get it. What's a 5.56 versus a 30.6, a 308 are pretty close calibers, right? What's a 5.56? Is that inches? I don't get it. A 5.56 is bigger than a 308 or smaller than 308.
Inside the body, but clearly it just severed the artery, the carotid artery.
The trend
is left side.
Yeah.
And the shot comes from the left. So that's another detail is I'm looking for. So the shot is coming. They're in an auditorium, and it's a concave. So the shooter had to have been shooting at an elevated position downward and somewhere a little off to the left side because it hits the left side, but straight.
Right up here.
We'll see earlier that there's not many places that the shooter could have been.
Here.
If we try to angle it in a similar way,
Yeah.
all these buildings right here were filled with people. These rooftops were filled with people. All this courtyard area and auditorium was completely filled with people. So there's no way someone's just going to be in the middle of a crowd and pull out a pistol and get one accurate shot like that. Luckily, because someone around them would bump them, and no professional would take that risk. And then if you're further away, you're looking. It has to be somewhere over here.
All right, top.
There's some higher buildings.
You couldn't do it from the inside because those windows look like they're too high.
But we do have a shot of the suspect on the main suspect on a rooftop, so we'll get to that, and then try to line it up to see which building it was. So there's somebody on.
That's it right there.
Counting or not counting gang violence.
So then, after the first wave of commotion, a lot of people were speculating. I was listening in on a Twitter live. People were trying to confirm, did Charlie pass away? Was he still alive? What was his condition? And eventually he did pass away. And President Trump tweeted this out that he passed away, and that kind of confirmed it. And then there was reports that the suspect in custody, they let him go, or it wasn't really him. They got the wrong shooter, which was kind of obvious.
The best lives that
And then this other wave of video came out that I started downloading. And then now I'm more paying attention to the line of sight and the path of the bullet. So this is showing the kind of the depression that this auditorium is in. It goes down, and then the shooter
Thanks, Vibrator. I'm glad you found my channel.
would have to have been somewhere probably on this building is what I'm looking for.
over the last 10 years, counting or not counting gang violence. Great.
It just sounds like a sniper rifle.
Counting or not counting gang violence. Great.
Damn! I watched that video and it was shocking, disgusting. I mean, I know a lot of you guys have seen it, but there ain't no way he was going to survive that. In fact, by the time he hit the ground, I think he was already gone.
Just off.
Counting or not counting gang violence. Great.
Here's a picture I found. People are saying, are measuring the distance, and this is 200, 500 feet.
It's not a long shot for a deer hunter, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Then this video comes out.
already be in place. You would think that.
Right
So
here.
there's somebody on the roof right there. Just saying. He just ran from over. Where's my finger?
In all black, looks like, appears to be.
Yeah. So there's somebody on the roof right there.
Apparently they saw him walking on it.
He'd already be in place.
Now, if I would have seen that, I would have reported it to somebody, police, security. But they may have thought it was part of security.
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof.
So these kids are, I think, suspecting that if this is a security sniper, that he should already be there, and this is kind of late for him to be arriving.
Just saying.
But of course, it's really hard for someone like this to suspect that this is actually an assassin. Like,
Right.
it's the last thing you would think if you're not used to this kind of environment. Here's the best video we have to really show that, okay, this was
There it is.
what we think. Here you can see the shooter up here on the roof running. And that must be this building right here.
Yep.
See if we can. The teenagers must have been right over here
Yeah, on that walkway.
filming the video.
There.
They're on this large sidewalk, this wide walking area, and then we got the 3 steps right here. Let's see if it lines up. Yeah, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
So there's somewhere, he's filming us somewhere on this path, and then you have these 3 stages, and the shooter's somewhere up here. So
This guy actually
that shooter
lives
knew
close to
what
the
he was
guy.
doing.
This
On
sniper
one hand,
put
he knew
out.
where he was going. He knew what
Hit him.
position he needed to be in to get the shot. This was planned to some extent, but it's just interesting that if I was the shooter, I would have been inside this building.
Right, bootlicker.
I would have somehow found a way to shoot from inside this building.
Yeah, but see how high those windows are compared to the level of the floor? Those windows are near the ceiling. And there's no windows in that building that are accessible unless you're standing on a ladder and broke one of those windows out. There'd be no way to take that shot from one of those windows because the windows are 2 feet, 3 feet from the ceiling of the building, of the wall inside there. Yeah, and all the buildings closer had people on them, I think.
Who knows if it was possible, but maybe it wasn't possible. But exposing yourself as a silhouette walking on a rooftop all in black is a crazy amount of risk to take as a professional.
I agree.
I would never do it.
It's the only choice.
So those are things that tell me that this is like an amateur, right? Professional enough to do it, but not professional enough to get away with it.
Right.
And that's my current take on it. So of course I'm gonna be looking to see if they catch this individual, and I'm curious to know who was this person. But the suspect right now has changed to this person right here. We have this Twitter post I just seen, again, this is not confirmed. This is speculation. That's why I'm.
Yeah, how did this person know that something bad was going to happen? This person should be brought
in their face. But transgender, same tags, and clear threat. Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I hope someone evaporates him literally. So there's a death threat. And then later on, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. So then that's a sign of intent and a sign of planning something.
Yep.
And sure enough, something big did happen. So, and I'll just say something about transgenderism. These past couple mass shootings have been transgenders, which is, it's not a woman becoming a man. It's always a man becoming a woman. I just find that interesting. And for me being a man, I know that men naturally, no matter what you do, I happen to believe in God, happen to believe in two genders, and that that this is a mental issue. And one thing I'll say is, as a man, I know that only men have this kind of, I can't say only men, mostly men have this kind of aggression that will defend their ideals to the death and kill over their opinions. Women don't naturally have that kind of inclination to kill or be killed over their opinions. Women are more likely to kind of be susceptible and go with the flow of the culture and the community and the people around them. It's men that have that innate desire to kill or be killed over their opinions and ideals and principles. And so it's just interesting that all the transgenders happen to be, well, not all, but most of them happen to be, from my understanding, men who are trying to become women. But
and let's just say there's not a lot of them compared to all the other shooters.
Then decide they want to get in touch with their killer instinct and start killing people over this shit. So that's then we get into after the aftermath of them trying to find it.
Just east of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle.
So then this is police chatter. The police now realize that the main suspect is still on the go, and he's got a long.
It's definitely an older video bootlegger
rifle. That's kind of the main thing I was looking for. Is if this is a accurate rifle, then there's going to be a long rifle, and that's going to be hard to conceal. And there's no way that someone just in the crowd.
So that's 3 bootlegger, that Minnesota, Kentucky, and Utah.
Just getting away with concealing a long rifle.
Black mask, long rifle.
So they released that individual. Okay.
So apparently they released the old guy.
And they're still looking for him. Do they think it's in? He left campus. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
In the backyard of a home.
Yeah, so he left, ran into a neighborhood, and then in these bushes, they found the weapon wrapped in a towel.
Home right next to UVU campus.
This is someone from near the campus who's recording some kind of SWAT team or something who are patrolling and trying to find the suspect, and they're going through this person's backyard. So
another suspect.
Kind of gives you, to me, the information I take away is that the guy's on the run and they're looking for him, but they haven't caught him. And so he has a chance of getting away at this point.
The thing about Utah is there's only I-15 and I-80, I think.
Because they haven't caught him on the spot, and that's the further, more time and distance that he gets away from the X, and the higher chance and odds he has of getting away with it. So that's it. I'm incredibly heartbroken.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed seeing Charlie Kirk, the movement that he's making, despite some of the things I disagree with. Overall, I agree. I'm as a Christian, as a proponent of masculinity, traditional values, which Charlie Kirk did, and overall just having the balls to piss people off. Not to say it's always right or always wrong. Not to say you can't be more insensitive, the environment, whatever. But kill people over this. His wife posted this video. Just makes you happy. This little girl will never get to know her father. Amazing father.
For space.
This little dude will never grow up with the presence of his awesome father, who would have been a great dad. Clearly was. So, nothing but respect for Charlie. And where do we go from here?
Baby Mab. Yeah, Uvalde was way too many cover-ups. Uvalde was one of the biggest failures I've seen in my entire life. All those people, all those cops, so freaking afraid to go save those kids as they were listening to them getting slaughtered. I couldn't take it. I think this is the end of this one. Yeah.
I think it feels like the West is falling apart.
We're not going to fall apart. Where the hell did this thing come from? This is a long one. Let's listen to what Joe Rogan thinks. And Turtle Island tonight. That's right. Hey there, Angelina. How you doing? Good to see you, sweetie. So let's hear what Joe Rogan has to say. And Charlie Sheen.
Experience.
So this just happened. We just found out that Charlie Kirk got shot.
It's fucking awful.
And is he dead?
No, I don't think so.
That's what was just
One of the guys out there just said it was
spoken
confirmed that he's dead.
in the lobby was just.
I was looking.
It's like as it's happening, as he's interviewing Charlie Sheen. Tom McDonald's song, I think I might have played it earlier. Is it the kid, Angelina, that you're talking about?
I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that said confirmed.
It was me.
Whoa.
Murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Beliefs that didn't
who
align.
did it or,
Yeah.
I'm
He's
sorry.
dead?
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
According to
Fuck.
Fox News.
Jesus. 27 years old, maybe 30.
Do they even have a suspect?
I don't know. Well, that's why I don't. I'm literally trying to track it all on Twitter, and it's all.
Fuck. Nobody deserves it. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
So were you saying that MSNBC had a crazy take on it?
Mm-hmm.
What was their take?
I mean, I'm literally just reading Twitter, so I didn't see the video. I just saw people talking about tweets of it. I'll pull it up though. Let's see.
Fuck.
And even now they could have taken it down.
It was a tweet or a video?
I'm doing the show while I'm trying to.
I think their take was some overzealous MAGA supporter was shooting off his gun in celebration and hit Charlie by accident. That's just what you'd hear from MSDNC.
Right. No, I understand.
Charlie had the vest on. Vest would not have helped him. Got shot in the neck.
I think they were live on the air and people clipped what they were talking about. It's not tweets, not on their Twitter account or anything.
So it's someone's hot take.
Live in the moment.
Yeah, that's a crazy take. Crazy take is that what?
Oh, I haven't heard about Audrey Hale vibrator. I'll have to look that up.
What's the take that they deserved it?
That's why I didn't want to pair.
Right.
Here you go. Dave Portnoy reposted it.
You found it? All right, here. Put it.
It's only 10 seconds.
Which a shooting like this happens.
You can put the headphones on. You can
Yeah,
hear
and
it.
again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about.
That's what the crazy thing was.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, if it was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration.
What? Someone shot their gun off in celebration and killed him.
You shoot celebration guns in the air. Oh God! Just
what a crazy take. Like it might not have been someone assassinating someone for the wrong opinion.
Huh?
Fuck.
But why does something like that have to be spun?
We're gonna stop this once in a while, otherwise I'll get nailed. I heard the bullet bounce off his body armor. Wow. Oh, and the different shooting.
their ideology.
No, I know what I'm saying. It's like,
I mean, they want to try to pin it on a Trump supporter with a crazy Trump supporter with a gun,
right,
going
course,
wacky. We don't know if it was a supporter shooting off a gun in
Hey, One Feather, good to see you. Glad to hear.
celebration, because they do.
Right,
that.
right,
A lot
yeah.
of folks are just
course, yeah.
constantly out there shooting off guns at large
course.
gatherings in celebration.
Yeah, 4th of July, you can't leave your house.
What the fuck?
No, that is that's a wow.
There's going to be a lot of people celebrating this. It's so scary. And it's so dangerous too.
I took a couple calls of people calling me crying. My baby Mab's fiance called me last night crying about this. Apparently watched my live stream yesterday. He was crying, and I think he was drinking. He's never called me in his life, and I didn't even know. It said Tyler or something. I didn't know what his last name was. I just knew him as Tyler, but I talked to him for a while. Then Baby Mab called me just now for the 3rd time today. She's crying because all of her friends are celebrating this, and I was like, damn, they don't sound like friends, good friends to me.
To celebrate or to in any way encourage this kind of behavior from human beings. He's not a violent guy who's talking to people on college campuses. Wasn't even particularly rude. Who's tried to be pretty reasonable with people.
Yeah.
Everything I saw seemed reasonable.
He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or don't. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with him on. That's fine. You're allowed to disagree with people without celebrating the fact they got shot.
But you can't disrespect his passion.
Yeah. Well, what you're supposed to do with a guy like that, if you're opposing him, is debate him.
Right.
Have a conversation where your argument is more compelling than his.
Sure.
That's what people should be celebrating. Discourse. We used to do that.
Do some homework and bring it to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think Joe is worried about his safety, Joe Rogan. I don't think so. And MSDNC is such a freaking joke. So is CNN, so is CBS and ABC. Fox is better, but still mainstream. I don't watch any MSM, mainstream media. They do not tell the truth. They do not report the truth. They are told what to report. They are not journalists. They don't do journalism like they used to back when I was young. We actually did journalism. Not today. We have no journalists. The only journalists we have are YouTubers, people like Brian Anton, people who are doing their research and reporting on stuff. But the mainstream media are not journalists in any way, shape, or form. Your ballot shirt, not bullet shirt. Ballots, not bullets. Yeah.
It's horrible. This podcast has been a lot about violence, man.
It has, but not this kind.
No.
I'm sorry, not something so in the moment right now from someone this current.
Yeah.
That we see and are aware of daily. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those young influencers, right? This time from the right, who is all over social media, always doing these various shows and debating people and talking to people and giving speeches and no one deserves this, folks. No one that has different opinions. No one deserves that.
No
one should be celebrating the death of anyone. If Joe Biden was shot during the last election, I would not have been celebrating. I wouldn't celebrate anyone's death other than like the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. I might celebrate his death in the electric chair, but I'm not one that celebrates the death of people. In my view, you love the sinner, but you hate the sin. In other words, that person can be loved, but what their actions are is what is abhorrent. Anyone controlled by big pharma is not the media. Damn right. It's turning out to be a political party side instead of a human life. Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, Charlie Kirk was one of the most brilliant guys to be able to go into the very places that propagandize their students and discuss things with their students, ask any question in non-threatening way. I mean, put himself out there for discussion like we used to be able to do in my generation. We could agree to disagree. We didn't, beat people up because of what they thought about something. It was not heard of back then. But the media, in my opinion, has fomented and propagandized a certain portion of the population to the point of violence. And that's what I believe we're seeing.
This is horrible.
No.
But I know people are going to celebrate it because this is a fucked up time, and people have really fallen into this trap of us against them.
CNN sucks. They're not a news organization.
But it's also going to make people not want to be as courageous or not want to be as forthright with the things they believe. It's going to put people on guard.
It could. It
could do the opposite.
Yeah.
I get that, but there's also going to be that sort of ingrained thing now.
Mm-hmm. You're correct. Yeah.
And and you just going through the whole New York thing. I just sometimes there's a crowd and it's all love. It's all love, and all they want is is your signature or a photo or this and that. But there's so much of those moments where you're spent looking down.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking down the entire time.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody wants to shoot me. I don't think that's kind of out in the world, right?
No.
But it's the type of shit that just lives in the back of one's mind.
Yeah.
Because how could it not?
How could it not?
And then the thing like today, and you're like, okay, that's why it's in the back of our minds.
Yeah. Well, it's when we were talking about assassinations earlier, whether it's Kennedy or RFK or you think of them in the past. You think of them like.
What do you mean by they're just trying to cover their ass? Yeah, I didn't expand on that, buddy. Yeah, Angelina, what happened to agreeing to disagree? I know what I've been taught in church, but I feel like what goes on at your house is your business. Yeah. Yeah, keep your stuff where it belongs.
You don't, when something happens in the current, like right now with this one with Charlie Kirk, it doesn't seem real.
No.
It seems very surreal.
It does.
It seems like
it does.
It's going to take a long time before we reference this as something that happened. Like you remember he got shot and killed? Oh yeah. Like right now, it just doesn't seem real. It seems so crazy that it's not registering.
It's not. No.
Got it, buddy writer.
Is he a friend?
No, I met him once.
Okay.
I met him once at a gun range of all places.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. He was a nice guy.
What's up, Alex? How you doing, buddy? Welcome.
When I met him.
Wow.
It's a fucked up time. People are so divided in this country. They're so divided. And there's so many people that love it. They love that we're divided and they profit off that division and they stoke the fires and they do it for their own profit. And it's so fucking gross. It's so.
What's easier to control a population together or a population divided? Way easier to control a population that's fighting among themselves, okay? And that's a part of the reason why it's being done sometimes by the government and corporations, news media. I mean, they like to, ramp up the racist crap. And they're always trying to divide people, one against the other.
Gross. And to encourage this kind of thing is really one of the most horrific things that you could do after someone dies horribly like this, is celebrate.
It
should be a wake up call for everybody. Like, this is nuts. This is nuts.
No, it's unforgivable that to spend things like that, and because the people they're never thinking about is that person's family.
I think they just that's just like default with those. They gaslight you by default.
Right.
So immediately they try to find some reason why whatever the thing is that's in the news is someone else's fault.
Right.
I think I lost a comment up here. Bootlicker, what makes me angry is they are wanting to VP for Charlie's death, but prosecutor let Brian Covert deal. Not fair. Yeah.
Of course.
It's just all gaslighting. And that's what they're paid to do. They're paid propagandists masquerading as the news.
Exactly what
so weird. Fuck.
No, it's a dark day.
Yeah. It is.
It's a turning point. It's kind of a coincidence that he started a company called Turning Point USA. I believe this is going to be a turning point in the USA because I think this is bigger than we think it is. It's going to be bigger than we think it is.
Well, two things is going to happen. Either people are going to realize how fucking insane this is, and we have to have a conversation about being able to have conversations.
Right.
Or it's going to get a lot worse. That's what's scary.
Yeah.
Scary just could spark off some kind of a real violent conflict. You know, that guy had a lot of fans.
Yeah.
A lot of people love that guy.
Yeah, I know.
And if they find out that he got killed for something that they vehemently oppose in the first place, it could send people over the edge.
It could. Yeah. There's always that flashpoint moment in any, in previous times like this.
Yep.
There's always that tipping point moment.
Like the Rodney King film.
Yep.
Right. Something just like that's it.
Yeah. This also highlights just a little bit of perspective, like how lucky Trump was.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like Charlie didn't get the benefit of a head turn or a couple of microns or millimeters or, it's just like, wow, who decides that?
Yeah.
That is just, there's this
the Trump thing is bananas.
Yeah. But they talk about
clips his ear.
Yeah. Because he makes a reference to something.
Yeah.
And then it's just,
And then it clips his ear, where if he didn't turn his head, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
And it would have been on live on CNN.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can stop the screen without something else popping up. What is this one? Oh yeah, profession. Okay, let's watch this. Professor Nez. Oh, I forgot to share the screen like a dumbass. I'll get good at this one of these days. Breaking Manhunt. Share screen.
Episode of Nez Nation Live. Today's show.
Don't strike me, Nez Nation.
The awful tragedy that happened last.
It's just commentary.
Yesterday, rather, where Charlie Kirk.
Now that's a good. This is where I cropped my image from for the thumbnail. That's a pretty good picture right there. You guys agree? That's right, Bootlicker. Copyright out in 1976. Educational purpose only. Materials are for fair use and educational purposes only. No copyright infringement is intended. Credit to the respective owners, which is Professor Nez. Go over there and subscribe. He's got 583,000 subscribers. I got 1,333. All right. And I'm not monetized, so I'm not making money. Okay.
31-year-old young man, intelligent, smart, defiant, self-reliant, help spread American debate, tried to bridge the divide between people who disagree with one another and talk it out,
Problem was he was too effective.
He was gunned down violently, horrifically at Utah Valley University. And now there is a person of interest who you see on the screen right here. Before I get cooking on all these live updates, I just want to say this really quickly. After all the tragedy, by the way, how many of you slept okay last night? Anybody sleep okay last night? Because I know I didn't. So if I look like a bucket of manure,
I had a weird ass dream this morning. I woke up and I was driving in some freaking high tech UFO with a friend of mine I used to go to church with. Excuse me, I got hiccups. And I remembered it. I usually don't remember my dreams, but I remembered that one. Thanks, Marcia. I did a good job one day. I did a good job once in a while.
I apologize. Not only am I battling shingles, which is one of the worst pains I've ever felt in my life, but what's
the hell are shingles? If you install the YouTube Studio app on your phone, you can set it up, and you can make money on YouTube, but you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to set it up on YouTube Studio. I have 1,000 subscribers. I didn't know that. Why does it have to be set up on your phone? I have 1,000 subscribers. I think you have to have so many hours of watch time to be monetized. Is what I haven't researched it. The money you make on YouTube is so little anyway. If you got a little channel like mine, it'd be like $3 a month or something. 3,000 watch hours. Damn, I'm only not. I got like 500 to 600 hours. I got like 500 hours of watch time. But I've only been taking my channel seriously for the last couple of weeks.
What's happening to my country is breaking my spirit, and I'm sure it's breaking yours as well. Mary Seitz says no, she didn't sleep last night. How many people slept last night? Yeah, cried, endlessly cried. I watched. I actually, believe it or not, I watched Grapes of Wrath last night. The 1940 film with my favorite actor of all time, Henry Fonda, directed by John Ford. Because I just wanted to love my country again. I just wanted something that reminded me of humanity. And it was one of those kind of random things where it was there, and I said, you know what, I'm going to watch it. And it wasn't even a choice. I was so distraught, so broken, so shattered in spirit last night that I needed something. I just needed something. And I watched the entire.
This is affecting people way more than I thought it was going to. It's affected me more than I thought it was going to. I was supposed to be up on my hill digging a trench and building rebar and pouring concrete to fix my crane. But I couldn't do it. I even had a guy lined up to come over here. I had to call it off because I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it.
Film from beginning to end, cried so many times because there's so much humanity in that movie. I haven't actually read the book. Should I read the book? I love, obviously I've taught literature at the university. I've taught communications, Aristotle's Principles of Rhetoric. So I'm a huge fan of reading and writing. I actually was thinking, even though supposedly the movie is very faithful to the book, I was thinking, for how long? What's been the makeup of the last, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 9, 8 out of 9 tragic mass shootings and tragic killings, et cetera, et cetera? What has been the makeup? A lot of you in the comments are already ahead of me. So I was telling my wife when they released these images, this is a digitally enhanced image of this individual. It looks like a male, a young white male, maybe, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation that he may be in disguise. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the shirt that he was wearing. So here's the kind of original image right here of this person of interest.
Looks like he has an American flag and like a gun or something. I don't know, but he was dressed up like a MAGA person.
Okay. And he's wearing a wraparound sunglasses, a dark colored hat, a long sleeve shirt that appears to have an American flag on it. I'm gonna post this number in the comments right now, and I'm gonna bring it up on screen. This is a number that I want anybody and anyone who's watching this, share this out, by the way, tap that thumbs up.
1-800-CALL-FBI, you guys. 1-800-CALL-FBI if you guys get any tips.
By the way, YouTube is suppressing our videos. A lot of these platforms are suppressing our videos because we're telling the truth. And so,
yeah, that's what they do. It's not aligned with the freaking narrative of the mainstream media. They'll suppress the piss out of you. I watch a channel, the Bigfoot channel, a guy that reads Bigfoot encounters directly emailed to him, word for word, thousands of them. I've listened to about 6 years of them. And so I've done my research on that subject, and there's definitely something going on. It ain't fake. Yeah.
Oh, you see the mission of our channel is to make common sense go viral. And you can see the hat that I'm wearing, to make common sense go viral. You can see it on the top of the screen. They're subduing and suppressing.
I like that. Make common sense go viral. SSRIs, aren't they? SSRs. Those are bad.
There's a number there on your screen right now. If anybody has any information related to this person of interest, if anybody has any knowledge, intelligence as to the whereabouts, any footage, any random cell phone clips, whatever, you know somebody, you know somebody, you know somebody who might know somebody, I want you to call 1.
Somebody knows this guy, and somebody has already seen this image. Somebody already knows who this guy is. And my prediction is that by the end of the day or the end of 2 or 3 days, this sumbitch will be in jail.
1-800-CALL-FBI. The number's on the screen right there. 1-800-CALL-FBI. There's also, so that's the kind of original photo. And then I have the enhanced, a digitally enhanced photo. Boy, doesn't he look like Mangione? How many people remember Luigi Mangione?
No, it doesn't look like
that's a digitally enhanced image that you see on your screen right there.
Didn't Luigi Mangione have kind of like a unibrow?
Remember, there was 2 suspects later found not to be connected that were arrested yesterday. So FBI Director Kash Patel announced that there was 2 people in custody. They since let them go. But it's
right, Marsh. His mama may have to turn him in.
Seems very clear, very strong. We are saying what I've been hearing from authorities and from various trusted resources is that they are very, very close. There have been rapid developments just in the last few hours. So I'm going to keep you abreast of everything that is happening. But it looks like a young gentleman, very Luigi Mangione, the guy who unalived the poor 50-year-old young man, CEO of United Healthcare. And by the way, I'm not advocating for healthcare. I'm just advocating that there's better ways to go about it than actually ruining your life and ruining families' lives and ruining and engaging in this horrific violence. Why didn't you debate Charlie Kirk? Instead of shooting him, why didn't you go down there and debate him? Even Charlie Kirk said this himself. Once we have eliminated the ability to defend our ideologies, defend our advocacies, defend our values and principles, we resort to violence. He was 100% right about that. I'm going to also share with you this ridiculous quote that seems to be this ridiculous quote that all these crazy liberal leftists are using to sort of justify this, which is insanity. There's some photos here I'd like to share with you. That, ladies and gentlemen, right there that you see on your screen is the actual view. That's the actual view where the assassin was perched. So that's what was the shot heard around the world. That was the exact POV.
Okay, so that had to be scoped out in advance because that tent goes up You got the slope. You got where he's sitting. That building corner right there would have been in the way if he was any farther to the right. So that had to have been scoped out a day, 2, 3 days, a week in advance. I don't know.
Right there. That was the exact POV. Great to see you, Jim Barron. We got the best mods in the business. Thank you so much, Jim. God bless you. God bless everyone. I'm dedicating this show to 9/11 victims, and I'm dedicating the show to the Charlie Kirk family, his wife and his 2 kids. That right there is the location. Now, you can see some evidence tape down there, and I'm going to close up on that in just a second. Before I do, though, here you can see where Charlie Kirk was seated. There's actual cell phone footage. Thank you, Laura Tilford. It's great to see you here, Lala. In the bottom right.
One feather, he's part of a group that may help him stay underground. McVeigh and his helpers had ties to Michigan militia. How long did this guy have? When Charlie was scheduled to make public, he had time. They have not caught the guy who killed his kids by hiding in the mountains. They may not catch him. I think that guy is probably bones by now. Is that, I forget his name. I have this set up so that when I hit the corners, everything goes away. I think I might have to fix that because it's pissing me off.
Right-hand corner of your screen there, you can see, or at least next to me right here, you can see this image right here with the circle is a still shot of a gentleman on the roof. And then the diagram above that, 200 yards away. Now, apparently, thank you, China Baby, you're the best. Now, apparently, Charlie Kirk, there's reports that Charlie Kirk was wearing a bulletproof vest. I was kind of surprised by that. And so there was reports that Charlie Kirk was wearing a bulletproof vest. And you can see right there, the image on your screen right there, after I showed you the person of interest, you can see right there that those are paw prints right there. And it looks like there's a little piece of kind of evidence. Now, I'm not really sure what those tabs are. They just could be identifiers. Those aren't shell casings or anything. So that's probably from authorities. But you can see the paw prints right there on the roof of where this assassin was standing, right there. So you can see those imprints in the, I'm not a construction guy. I don't know what kind of roof that is. Maybe somebody.
That's a flat roof with, I am a construction guy, so that's a flat roof covered with a tar substance and then covered by cinders or pebbles, cinders, whatever you want to call them.
You can tell me, maybe somebody can tell me in the comments if you're like a construction guy or something. JD Vance, the vice president, has skipped the 9/11. He didn't skip. He went to Charlie Kirk's family. Charlie Kirk's casket is being flown to Arizona as we speak. But let me tell you a little bit more about this guy right here. And there have been some serious, rapid developments as to what's really going on here. They show the exact photo, exact location, where he was. It's a gravel-covered rooftop, okay, believed to be at the Lucé LOS, I don't know how you pronounce that.
It's a flat roof.
LOSEE Center on the Orem campus. So there's 5 orange evidence flags. That's what those are. So those are 5 evidence orange flags. That's what those are. Okay, so
You're not going to get any good footprints or impressions out of that stuff. That's like cinders.
I'm getting a little more intelligence here. The vantage point has a clear line of sight to the white pop-up tent where Kirk was addressing an audience, okay, of, let's see, how many people were there? It was about 3,000 people.
Hey, Nina. Good to see you. Always good to see you, Nina Drew. 9/11 should not ever be skipped. I agree. But you don't want to get me into 9/11. For sure, you do not want to get me into that because
it was at the inaugural.
You just don't.
Stop for his nationwide American comeback tour. He's still on the loose, even though there have been rapid developments. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $100,000. $100,000 to ascertain who this individual is and to ascertain any information leading to the arrest of this and identification of this individual. We have a live press conference coming up right now, okay? And so here is again one of the people, this is the person of interest. And authorities seem pretty positive that this gentleman right here, which I've got an enhanced photo, a digitally enhanced photo, I'll share with you. This is the digitally enhanced photo right here of the suspect. No name.
That's when I cropped for my thumbnail. Very good picture for facial identification for sure. What is that thing on his hat? What kind of hat is that? Looks like a pile of dog shit.
No, nothing like that. Okay. So we're this is what we're waiting for right now.
It's not quite gravel, Marsha. It's more like cinders.
What we're waiting for is the live press conference that was scheduled 45 minutes ago. And the fact that the reason they delayed the press conference is because they said they've had rapid developments. Now, here's the shirt that the guy, the person of interest, let me show you this shirt, which authorities are saying was designed to fit in and blend in.
Right.
And I think Steven Crowder first broke this, but there's evidence on some of the casings, apparently.
Is that like a eagle and an American flag? Home of the brave. Yeah. Designed to fit right in.
The authorities have evidence on some of the casings that there may be, dun, 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 you guessed it, transgender ideology and political leanings. Engraved on the casings that unalived our dear friend, husband, father, innocent, true American, Charlie Kirk. This shirt says land of the free, home of the brave with an eagle on top of a U.S. flag. And this is what Christy Stayert says that I have that same shirt. So it seems like it's probably a shirt you can get anywhere, I'm assuming, correct? Probably a shirt that you can get anywhere. And President Trump said that he's going to award Charlie Kirk a posthumous Medal of Freedom. What do you guys think?
Good. Charlie Kirk, you guys might not know this, but Charlie Kirk organized the very first Trump rally in his first election. You might not know that, but that's true.
Just think about that. That's the least.
They asked him if he could get 100 people, young people in a room. And he said, I think I could get thousands. It turned out to be the first biggest Trump rally of that started off the Trump rally scenario.
We can do. So what I've been doing is, because, you know, of course we give our utmost heartfelt condolences, thoughts, prayers, right? Of course we do all that. But this is why I started watching Grapes of Wrath, is I'm trying to question, I'm trying to investigate self-introspectively what has happened to my country. What is going on here? And why is this happening? Why is this something that seems okay? Now, obviously, I have my guesstimations, pretty strong proof, I think. I think there's definitely no doubt that the violent, vitriolic language, casting evil connotations on President Trump and anybody who supports him, calling them anti-this, Trump this, fascist this, Hitler this, constitutional crisis this, threat to democracy this, and actually in some instances, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Gavin Newsom himself, this is a supposed governor. This guy's not new to politics, okay? This guy is not new to politics. I'm going to play for you a clip, okay? I want to play for you a clip of what Gavin Newsom said literally like a week ago. I want to play this for you. This is Gavin Newsom, the governor who is destroying my home state of California.
You live here too, huh?
Who has been touting that he's going to end homelessness for over 20 years, has squandered hundreds of billions of dollars on the homelessness industrial complex.
Yeah, the homelessness industrial complex in California doesn't give shit to the homeless. They put them up in hotels. They give them next to nothing. They give them free needles and drugs, but they don't do shit to help the homeless. For that amount of money, they could start a rehabilitation center for the homeless with mental health professionals, drug addiction centers, and all kinds of shit to help with the amount of money that they've raised or have spent in California, but it just gets bigger.
Listen to this. And this is obviously a very small example, but I want you to listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to listen very carefully. This was only a few days ago. Okay. I want you to listen to this.
Sorry, I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
Really? Is that not fomenting violence, Gavin? Son of a bitch.
Sorry, I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
That's not a street thug, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a prize fighter. That's not an MMA fighter. That's not some random jerk you see on a bus. You know, because in a Democrat America, you got to keep your head on a swivel. You can't go outside. Somebody posted on one of my comments says, you know, when I was saying the Democrats, the left is the enemy of Western civilization. Somebody said, why don't you go out and get some sun? And my response was, I would love to, but I'm afraid I probably would get shot by you deranged lunatics running loose. Make mental asylums great again. This is a governor of California, of the fourth largest, well, like he likes to tell.
We used to have mental institutions. Hey, my Army mom, good to see you. We used to have mental institutions back in my day, and somehow they did away with all of them, and they threw them all out on the street. And now we got all the mental cases, all the mental patients living in tents and freaking stabbing people and going crazy.
Doubt it. One of the second largest state in our union. One of the most powerful states in our union. This is a governor saying we're going to punch them in the face. And that is just a small minutia. That is just a small minutia of the reprehensible behavior that has led to this. Okay. As we await this press conference, I want to share this as well, because I think I owe this. I owe this to Charlie Kirk. Okay.
Google's blocking your comments on this stream at Bootlicker?
I can't believe this, but there's so many. There's just so many people that have been gleefully celebrating this horrific, despicable, reprehensible act. And there's so many, it's literally almost impossible.
Yeah, I've had
It's literally almost impossible to name them all.
I have some of my comments bootlicked too. No. I have some of my comments that don't make it either. Why is it the government can threaten the people, but if you threaten the government, guess what happens to you? That's right. That's why we have the First Amendment. And the reason the Constitution gave us the First Amendment was to, number one, protect ourselves, but mainly it was to be able to fight a tyrannical government that turned against its citizens. That's why they mainly made it. That's why they mainly put that in the Constitution. It was to protect us from a tyrannical government, from enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay, domestic meaning the government.
But here's just a few. Okay, and I think it's worth noting. I think it's worth sharing, because these are people who work in our hospitals. These are people who work in our restaurants. These are people who work in our public facilities, private facilities. These are real estate agents.
Hey, kitty cat.
These are social workers. Some of them, believe it or not, are mental health counselors, believe it or not, advocating, celebrating the murder of an innocent man. I think it's really, really important to share this. And then stick around. As soon as that press conference goes live, we're going to go there. I just got to the chat, but I do believe this was a hit and someone in the left paid for it. Thank you so much, Beard, XXL Gaming. Joyce Burns says, I cried and prayed to God to protect all of us. Yes, thank you, Joyce. God bless you. Paul Harrison, it's great to see you, Paul. This just breaks my heart. A wife is now without her husband, children without their dad. I couldn't sleep a wink last night. This reeks of a leftist agenda. Never forget Charlie Kirk. God bless you, Paul. Greg Loudon, great to see you. RIP Charlie Kirk. You were a true patriot for America, free speech, and above all, love you, Nez. I love you too, Greg. I love you too. Congratulations, Chris, for being a member for 2 months. So this right here is, this is Jasmine Murguia, okay? And I mean, there's a pattern here. There's a pattern here. This is Jasmine Murguia, okay? And she posted this yesterday, right after this horrific incident. And this is just one of many, by the way. She is an actual suicide prevention coordinator for the Colorado Department of Health. And here she is justifying this horrendous act by this venomous assassin, who, by the way, I also posted this on X. Follow me on X too, because X is really the last place. It's the last bastion of free speech out there. It's the last place that I can post things that won't get taken down for the most part. Yes, the person of interest, the person who pulled the trigger is important. The person whose finger pulled the trigger is important, but the person whose finger organized this whole thing is even more important. And yes, definitely just a pawn. I agree with some of our audience members that this was an organized professional hit, 100%. But this individual right here, by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, which means our tax dollars are paying her salary, okay? Our tax dollars are paying her salary. And she says, if you haven't said anything about the countless mass shootings, school shootings, or beep about ICE raids, Palestine, Black Lives Matter, and blah, blah, blah garbage, but you want to talk about how we should not feel or react to a pro-gun, pro-violence dude, literally shut the...
I'm going to read it like it's written. If you haven't said anything about the countless mass shootings, school shootings, or shit about ICE raids, Palestine, Black Lives Matter, and the violation of our rights of LGBTQIA folks, women, or folks without access to shelter, food, clean water, but want to talk about how we should not feel or react to how a pro-gun, pro-violence dude died via gunshot. Literally shut the fuck up and talk to yourself. Do some self-reflection and interrogation of why you speak up for a white man who spews horrid shit against every marginalized community. No heart? Please look at who and what you are. Good Lord.
F up and talk to yourself.
This woman is a crisis hotline woman or something, or a counselor?
This is a suicide prevention coordinator.
Suicide prevention coordinator. Oh my God. I mean, this is who she is. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Oh my God, you can't make this shit up.
No sympathy, no empathy, advocating we should.
What'd she say? Her septum is pierced too, and the hair gives it away.
Feel empathy for Charlie Kirk. One example. And again, I'm putting these people on blast. I think that's the very least I could do for Charlie, because at the very least, I'm not advocating for violence against these individuals. I would never, ever, ever in a million years do that. But yeah, I don't think you should be working as a suicide prevention coordinator. I think you should be terminated like yesterday. And I think that should follow you until you do some really deep soul searching and introspection about who you are, what you are as a human being. That's the only way. Incentives drive all human behaviors. You take away their livelihood. You actually, never mind, take away their livelihood is too mean of a phrasing. Show them that there's consequences to their lunacy. There are consequences to your madness. We're not going to put up with you. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't spew this garbage in our country and then think we're going to pay our hard-earned tax dollars to fund your ability to take care of yourself when you think like this. And this is just one example of a billion. This is just one example of a billion. There's more, but wait, there's more. I can't wait to get your thoughts on that. So I'm going to share this right here. Amanda Dodson is a teacher at the school district of Lancaster in Pennsylvania. And she made a post accusing
Gotcha, Blackwater. Gotcha, bootlegger.
Charlie Kirk of inciting hate and demanding that he receive no empathy. This person teaches our children. I'm going to share this this photo right here. She says Charlie Kirk was a racist, xenophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, sexist white nationalist mouthpiece who made millions of dollars inciting hatred in this country. Whether it was his genocidal denial, his transphobic tirades, his pushing for mass deportations, or his normalizing Trumpism, the man stood for nothing but hate. Can you imagine being Charlie Kirk's wife, seeing all this garbage? I extend absolutely no empathy, she says. I extend absolutely no empathy for people like that.
I don't either. In this situation, my empathy is reserved for his children. May they grow up and live in a country that is total opposite of everything their father envisioned. What a freaking CU, and you know what I'm saying. May all of our children grow up to live in a country that values their lives enough to take gun violence seriously and reject any person who would try to justify senseless gun-related deaths, especially the deaths of children. What the hell is she talking about when there's just been a case of gun violence to someone who was just trying to get discussion happening and bring the sides closer together? This chick is a lunatic.
This is Amanda Dodson, emotional support teacher at the school district of Lancaster in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She says Charlie Kirk deserves no empathy.
Wow.
I mean, it's disgusting.
These are teachers at your school, teaching your kids. No wonder that, you know, in my opinion, one of the biggest problems we have, and the left took over the education system decades ago. And they were smart for doing it because they basically control education from kindergarten to college, through college. And after a kid has been through that much propaganda, they come out a left-wing lunatic. My daughter went to college and came out a left-wing lunatic. She's just now being unprogrammed, and she's 30. Jeez, we need to do a lot of things. We need to attack. We need to address the media bias for one party or one side. We need to address the schools' indoctrination and propagandization of our children. We need to address the mainstream media's propagandization of the public. And let's not make no mistake, the mainstream media is granted a license by the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, and it can be taken away just as easily as they are given. And if you are intentionally lying and misreporting, you can have your license taken away. And I think that should be an option. And same with the teachers.
It's absolutely disgusting. Thank you, Christopher, so much for gifting 5 new memberships. Thank you so much. I couldn't have said it better myself, Laura. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's just one example. That is just one example, right? Check this out. This is a Department of Justice employee who mocks Charlie Kirk's death. Her name is Terry Pinkham Vandermark, who self-identifies herself as a data analytics specialist at the DOJ since 2012. And she's publicly mocking Charlie Kirk on Facebook. So we're gonna look at her post. But first, get a good look here. This is what she looks like right here. This is her name right here. And this is what she posted. Okay, so this is another thing too. So she posted this, and I want to talk about this for a second. So everybody is talking about this quote. A lot of these leftist nut jobs, and I wrote this statement out, and I'm going to read it to you on X. Okay, but this is what they're doing. They're posting this quote by Charlie Kirk in 2023, and in it he says, "I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights." So they're using this as some sort of justification. And I was just sick and tired of that, because this quote is just spreading like wildfire. And it's beyond repulsive, and it's wrong in every way imaginable. No one's political views, no matter how controversial, justifies murder or violence. Kirk's quote acknowledged the tragic trade-offs in a society that prioritizes broad access to firearms as a bulwark against potential tyranny, much like we accept risks in other freedoms, i.e., e.g., traffic deaths for transportation. It wasn't an endorsement of murder or a callous dismissal of lives, but it's a philosophical stance on balancing rights and risks.
Bootlicker, what? Oh, your granddaughter in the 3rd grade, someone told her that she is a boy. Was it a teacher? Did they try to give her puberty blockers? Good Lord. I live in California, but I live in a cowboy county, and I live in a kind of an area where I don't have to put up with this shit, but I'm very lucky.
Twisting this to rationalize his killing not only misrepresents his intent, but it undermines the principle that we resolve disagreements through debate, not bullets. If we truly value a free society, we must condemn all political violence unequivocally, regardless of the victim's ideology, and focus on solutions like enhanced security and addressing root causes of division rather than celebrate. They delayed it. They delayed it for, it was supposed to happen about 45 minutes ago. So stick around. I think it's the least I can do to honor Charlie Kirk, is to just share these absolute despicable demons celebrating what happened to him and hold them accountable. Who is an actual veterinarian. He's the owner and veterinarian at Gentle Care Animal Hospital in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, you guys know how much I love my dog Blue, okay? You guys know that my wife and I are huge animal lovers. Huge animal lovers.
Charlie Kirk, right-wing, stupid fuck, MAGA activist, shot and alive on shot and unalived on Utah campus is only the first. Could we actually be getting smart and culling the sick ones? Oh gosh, I want to offer his family my thought and prayers. And I think it's the middle finger. Oh my God. I would, if he said that to me, I'd probably knock him the fuck out right on his face. I mean, I'm not a violent guy, but Jesus. Christopher Rispol.
Okay. I love my kids, but my dog is my heart. Okay. I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. But my dog is my best friend in the whole world. Okay. My dog Blue.
That's right. Looker.
This guy right here, Christopher Rispoli.
Have a 25-year at least jump on normal people is to propagandizing and brainwashing people.
Charlie Kirk, right-wing, stupid MAGA activist, shot unalived on Utah campus. He's only the first. Could we actually be getting smart and culling the sick ones? Oh gosh, I want to offer his family my thoughts and prayers with 3 middle finger emojis. Transgender shooting. That's correct. What about the kid that asked the question? Maybe signal the shooter. I think they've got the guy. I think it's.
Yeah, that could be
It's a matter of, I really think, Maria, that they got the guy. It's just, we're just kind of waiting on the official announcement, which should work in education. What a big shock that is. Is anybody shocked by that? What have I been saying for years on this channel? What have I been saying was the reason that they wanted to get rid of me from the university? The fact that I was trying to teach my students real world applicable skills, things that I learned running businesses, things that I learned actually building and creating things. But they didn't want that, right? I had the best course evaluations out of any professor. Instead of being rewarded, they penalized me. Why? Because they're all Bolsheviks. They're all communists. They hate America. Obama, Kamala, they're academics. Joe Biden, they're academics.
Yep.
This Adam Shifty, Pencil Dick Schiff, he's an academic. They're all the same. I mean, a statement from the university. An MTSU employee, that's Minnesota, Tennessee State University employee today, offered inappropriate and callous comments on social media concerning the horrific and tragic murder of Charlie Kirk. The comments by this employee, who worked in a position of trust directly with students, were inconsistent with our values and have undermined the university's credibility and reputation with our students, faculty, staff, and the community at large. This employee has been fired. Woo! As you should be. Let's get a round of huge applause.
Yeah.
Now, I don't like to celebrate anybody's demise, but when justice is served, it feels damn good, doesn't it? Master Look, thank you for the $10 super chat, says we need accountability from 3-letter agencies. Any threats on social media, any media on TV calling. You know, I don't want to enter kind of the UK vibology. I don't want to start turning hated.
Whoops.
And this is how they are. This is actually indicative and symbolic how Democrats are. They eat their own. Instead of, you know, because I guarantee you this Sydney cockroach probably feels the exact same way as the ridiculous dean who made. Let's see here. Hold on a second.
We asked the public to be patient with the investigative process. These individuals were not suspects. They were people of interest. We ask that you do not impose into those people and that investigative process. They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that. I'd like to thank all the investigators that are involved in this. They've worked around the clock all day yesterday, through the night.
InfoWars, you can't be Alex Jones. Come on. Why would Alex Jones be in my chat? InfoWars, a cult. Interesting. Who are you, InfoWars?
Last night, investigators from the State Bureau of Investigations, from county, from city agencies, the university, our federal partners with the FBI, the ATF, and many others. Those are just a few of the people that we have involved in this. I'd like to thank all of them for their strong work. Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we're confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately. Last night, I communicated with Erica. The family is devastated. As a commissioner of public safety, as a father, as a husband, I can only imagine what that family's going through. The heinous event that happened yesterday is not Utah. This is not what we're known for. Over the past several weeks, we've seen the state come together to help families in mourning, come together as a community to show what Utah is known for a state of character, of service, of camaraderie, of a neighboring feel. We will not stand for what happened yesterday. We are exhausting every lead.
Okay, so yeah, so this isn't the live press conference that we're waiting for. No, I disagree, Giovanna. Giovanna says, Nez, we have to be like the UK and get people fired. No, that's different. Getting
It's okay, Donna. Thanks for being here, sweetie.
people fired. And by the way, I don't advocate for anyone to get fired. I think companies should know. I think CEOs should know. I think managers should know. I think customers should know. I think the public should know what kind of individual they're dealing with when they take their dog to a veterinarian, and that veterinarian is actually typing out and spreading absolute disgusting sewage celebrating the assassination of a father and husband, an innocent American. I think they should know that. And so whether they're fired or not, you know, some people might be like, I don't care that he did that. He's good with my dog. I can't imagine ever doing that, but I'm sure maybe there's some people who want. I am dedicating this show to the unbelievable heroes, to the unbelievable sacrifice, to the victims. And I'm hoping that New York will never forget. I'm really hoping that New York will never forget, because there's a huge mayoral election that I think could change the balance of that city and the country forevermore. There's a huge mayoral election. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Democrat, Socialist, Communist, Bolshevik Mamdani potentially winning the mayoral race. I mean, he's in a huge lead right now. Thank you, Jim Barron, for the gift. Thank you so much to Mike Stevenson for the $20 super sticker. So I'm honoring, I'm dedicating this whole show to them. If you know or have seen this individual, the number to dial is 1-800-FBI. Pretty easy to remember that. 1-800-FBI. Here's something that just came on my desk right here. Mentally Ilhan Omar, who is saying that Charlie Kirk downplayed George Floyd and opposed Juneteenth. No, he just downplayed elevating a drug-addled felon and a discriminatory holiday. That's all he downplayed. Let's see what this is all about. I got two clips here. Let's see what this is all about. We're still waiting on this major press conference. Miss University. I posted this on LinkedIn too. And here's what she had to say. Lauren Stokes. For decades, white supremacists and reimagined Klan members like Kirk, so she's calling Charlie Kirk a Klan member, have wreaked havoc on our communities, condemning children and the populace at large to mass death for the sake of keeping their automatic guns.
What a fuck.
Again, it's like blaming the spoon that you're fat. It's like blaming the car that you decided to have 4 glasses of wine and get behind the wheel. Why is it that none of you people can take personal accountability for your horrific actions? Are we ever going to get to a point, America, where we stop blaming inanimate objects? Are we ever going to get to that point? They have willingly advocated to condemn children and adult survivors of SA to forced pregnancy and childbirth. That's not even close to what he said. They have smiled while stating the reasons people who can birth children shouldn't be allowed life-saving medical care when miscarrying. That's not true. They have incited clap for the brutalizing of black and brown bodies. What in the hell does that mean? That could find me one clip. Find me one video.
It's just the propaganda. It's just they've been propagandized so much that they repeat what they see on the mainstream media, and it's all garbage.
One blog, one statement where Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA have advocated. This is horrific. It's garbage. This is a executive assistant for vice chancellor.
She looked like a real treat.
This individual is teaching our children. These are people who are imagine, and there's plenty of video evidence to this too. Imagine you're a 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 19-year-old in class, and you raise your hand and go, actually, I was at a Charlie Kirk event and I found it to be inspiring, and I didn't sense anything. I didn't sense he did anything or advocating for anything that you purport that he did. Imagine being that student who actually exercises critical thinking, questioning this vermin, this mental headbag. Here is another tragedy. This is Sarah Murray. This is Sarah Murray. Who's that? Are you referring to cackling Kamala? There's nothing qualified, nothing intelligent, and nothing capable about her. She says, F you Trump supporters, I hope you choke on it. F you Trump supporters, I hope you choke on it. That's Sarah Murray. This is Sarah Murray right here. Let me actually find out exactly where she works. Oh, she is a school committee member for Millbury Willys Public School in Massachusetts. And she posted this online, hoping Trump supporters choke on a piece of S covered in broken glass. Sociological theory, urban sociology, race, class, and gender inequality. In other words, a load of bullshit. That's what she teaches. And she posted this on Instagram. Doesn't she look the part? They all look the same. It's so interesting. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, hell yeah, Charlie Kirk. She posted that on Instagram. There is Ann Luna, a professor of sociology. Oh my goodness. Hella witchy, indigiqueer professor. These are the people teaching our children. Honey, if you're watching, I'm talking to my wife right now. I mean this with all sincerity. I don't want our kids going to college. I don't. And I don't know. You tell me, do you think this is a good thing? This is a post. This is a post by Siki Chen. It doesn't matter who it is, but I've been seeing a lot more of this. And this individual said, my entire life I voted Democrat, donated the max to Obama, got a photo. Here's the photo of him and Obama. Got a photo and had him talk about my toe shoes on the stump. Pulled my kid out of preschool in 2016 after Trump won because their teacher was MAGA. Voted Kamala last year. Today, I registered Republican.
Amen.
And I don't know. If there's something to take away from, I mean, obviously we cannot have the Democrats ever hold power ever again. Like, we just can't. Them holding power ever again would be the worst thing for this country. I've said it a million times. We didn't just dodge a bullet with Kamala. We dodged the atomic bomb. It truly would have been the demise of this great republic. I mean that with every fiber of my being. And more people are seeing, as I said, when people show you who they are, you should believe them. More and more people are seeing who these people are, what they're all about. Share this with everybody, the public, customers.
Jet lag, you're right. Good to see you, buddy. Mainstream media and Ivy League college has been brainwashing students for decades. They did it to my own kid. Took me 10 years to get her back to sanity.
Consumers, students, parents, they all deserve to know where they're spending their hard-earned dollars and on whom they're spending their hard-earned dollars on. Nicole Gallagher Kiner says, I know I never said anyone deserved to die. He, however, absolutely did. Gun violence. Again, gun violence. Blame the spoon, not the fat person. It's all gun violence. So we have another, it's the mentality that just drives me absolutely crazy. It's the mentality. Never, ever, ever once taking any personal accountability. Okay, let's see where we are with this press conference. So it looks like they're closing in on this suspect. And we still don't have any idea.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying, there will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news. You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and
despicable.
Although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying, There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
This is the epitome of everything that is disgusting, everything that is creativeless, everything that has no backbone, no. Always, I'm going to keep you abreast on everything.
I've had enough.
Praying for Charlie Kirk's family. Honoring 9/11, the victims of 9/11. Stay tuned for all the latest. I'm going to keep you in the loop. As soon
I wanted to play this one. Hillary's still eating children they grow in Haiti. Adrenochrome, yeah. Yeah, it's from the blood. Sucks down. It's just opinions and speculation, people. This is not based on truth. We do opinions and speculation here. Nothing that any of the chatters say or nothing that I say is taken as fact. Do your own research. This is Charlie Sheen's, Charlie Sheen. This is Charlie Kirk's last episode. And he ever did.
This new footage we have of the stabbing murder of the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, Irina Zarutska, a young white lady who was stabbed to death by a black criminal, by a complete stranger on a train in Charlotte. Now, you might have not seen this footage yet. This is becoming national news, and the left is doing everything they possibly can not to talk about it. The media is very uncomfortable about this story. If you watch this video, this guy was sitting, minding his own. She was minding her own business. He was minding her own business. She was also dressed in like baggy clothes, comes up, takes out a knife, stabs her to death. 14 times he was previously arrested. 4 times. 14 times he comes up and just stabs her to death. Situations like this are a nearly daily occurrence in our cities. And I'm coming back from 2 nations, Japan and South Korea, that are poorer than us, that are not as populous as us, and their cities are not just safer, they are different planetary realities.
And look at this lovely young lady here, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 mugshots of this son of a bitch. You should not have been on the street to stab this beautiful Ukrainian person who was trying to get away from violence of a war and ended up getting wiped out.
If I went to Saturn and we live on Mars, we do not have to live this way. You can create a society and a culture where you can get on a train or a subway and not be Irina Zarutska and get stabbed to death in the neck because some black criminal decides, I'm just going to go do it. 14 times he was previously arrested. And all of the Koch brother funded liberal criminal justice BS is the reason why guys like him are still on the streets. 14 times. Let's put this back up on screen. And Irina Zarutska, why did she come to America? She was fleeing violence in Ukraine. It turns out it's more dangerous on subways in Charlotte, North Carolina than a war zone in Ukraine. The Associated Press wrote 0 stories about this over the weekend. PBS, New York Times, NPR, Wall Street Journal, BBC, CNN, Washington Post, Reuters, MSNBC, 0 stories. Now they're finally fixing that, but the stories they're writing, like this repulsive headline from Axios this morning, the gruesome attack of the fatal knife attack in Irina Zarutska on a light car rail in Charlotte has MAGA influencers seeking to elevate the issue of violent urban crime. Oh, this is all about MAGA influencers now? Oh, it's not about the fact that a white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. Stabbed to death. And by the way, the other sick part, which has now become the new urban way, everyone just kind of sat around and didn't administer first aid for 90 seconds. Just glued to their phones. We don't have to live this way. She survived a war, but couldn't survive progressive criminal justice reform. We should be more like Seoul in Tokyo. The focus of our leaders trying to say, well, we need criminal justice reform. We need more people in jail. We do not have enough people in prison in America. We do not have enough people in jail. We don't have enough people that are arrested on the side of the streets. That is a constant theme of this program. President Trump makes healthcare affordable again. His 3123 who was an incredible person, a Ukrainian refugee, comes to America and was murdered in cold blood for no reason, a senseless killing. If a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a white...
Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that when a white person kills a black person, it makes national news? We burn down cities. Black Lives Matter forms an organization, raises millions and billions of dollars, and doesn't help one black person on the face of the planet. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Woman gets stabbed to her death. Why is that?
Yeah, that was pretty shocking to go, for 2 weeks now, none of our major media outlets have covered her at all, not one word. They finally started to cover her a little bit this morning, but only because of the massive public shaming, because this video was so very shocking. And what I really want to emphasize here, Charlie, is that this is not a dangerous part of town where Zarutska was killed. It's a very lovely, popular part of town, bustling restaurants, trendy restaurants, boutiques. My family and I go there frequently on the weekend. So this was an area where you will see families on the weekend. She's a young woman, 23 years old, a refugee, getting off work at a pizzeria and gets onto that light rail. So, the initial reaction of our Democrat mayor was appalling. She said that she didn't mention Irina Zarutska at all in her initial statement. Instead, what she called for was compassion for the perpetrator, who she said is suffering from mental illness, just like cancer or heart disease. So we're supposed
Jesus, give me a break. Oh my God. Let's let him out again for the 15th time. What do we have to do to put somebody in jail? This no bail and all this crap is not working. It's just making our cities hellholes, third world countries. It's ridiculous. This beautiful young lady should have been a model and been made millions of dollars. I'm sure she would have been on the road to that. But she would have been better off moving to Russia, Vander X.
to have empathy for him as some sort of victim. And she said that we cannot arrest our way to safety, which is, of course, ridiculous. Yes, we can. If we put people behind bars when they're a public threat, we can have safe public streets. But, just to go a little bit more into the weeds on this, I want to let you know that our current governor, who was then Attorney General, his response has also been appalling. So back in 2020, within 2 weeks of George Floyd's murder, he had not only issued public lament. Well, I think at this point we can say it was not a murder, but he issued public lament over George Floyd's death, and instituted a new task force for racial equity in criminal justice system. So he initiated an entire task force for George Floyd's death, but it took him longer to acknowledge Irina Zarutska's death. It took him 2 more days than it did to acknowledge George Floyd, even though this happened in his own state where he is governor. So if you look back at what that task force that he implemented in 2020 did, they specifically called for more lenient pre-release policies, meaning they wanted low bail or no bail for minority offenders. They also...
Okay, that's racist right there. Talk about racism or reverse racism. That's against the law. You can't treat somebody differently because of their sex, age, race, political beliefs, or any of that shit. That's what the civil rights movement was all about. Now we're going backwards.
Called for decriminalizing homelessness and quote unquote public behavior, meaning being a public menace on the streets. So these were the very policies that allowed this perpetrator, DeCarlos Brown, to be on the streets. He did in fact receive pre-trial release back in January on his most recent arrest, because he's been arrested 14 times before, including for grand larceny.
All those mugshots. Good Lord.
and breaking and entering and assault with a deadly weapon. And almost every time he has been released and given fines and community service and probation.
This is a quintessential problem in our nation right now. Letting criminals out of jail on no bail, no matter what they do. You could do a drive-by shooting and be out the same day. And we're supposed to feel safe on the streets. And then if you do get carjacked and you a concealed carry guy and you defend yourself, you go to jail.
He has not been behind bars where he belongs. And so these were the direct policies that came out of that racial equity task force.
I have so many questions here. So let me just ask a micro question. Has this been talked a lot about in local communities in Charlotte, North Carolina? Are people understanding the racial element here that a random black guy murdered a white woman? Is it shocking the community? Walk us through what's happening locally here, because I would imagine it should be.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, one of the things you're hearing is that this was a light rail that we all felt perfectly safe using just a few years ago, and we don't feel that way anymore. Because of these policies, you are suddenly seeing an increase in homelessness in the Charlotte area. You know, we came here in 2016, and when we first got here, you really didn't see panhandlers, public disturbances on the street. You see that now when you go into our uptown metro areas. And so I think so many people are feeling that. And when you look at the increasing rates of crime in Charlotte, you can trace it back to 2020. So our last homicide high was in 2020 when the Black Lives Matter riots were occurring on our streets. And the second high of homicide rates in Charlotte were now 2024. So we don't have it for 2025 yet, but for 2024, when they were up 25% from the year before, when these racial equity policies started taking effect. So yes, I think people are very much waking up to the fact that, you know, all of these sort of Black Lives Matter, DEI push policies are having a direct impact on our safety, because the argument was, for the sake of racial equity, we need to not jail Black offenders. We need to give them fines and probation. And look, Charlie, this guy's mother, DeCarlos Brown's own mother, tried to get him involuntarily committed. She has said he was not safe to be on the streets, and she actually tried to do something because she knew he was a threat. And instead,
his own mama tried to get him committed, and they wouldn't do it.
Have a criminal justice system here that was sold out to social justice instead of actual justice.
So now I want to transition to the Christian element here. So you have a great book, Shepherds for Sale. You've also called out all the wokeism stuff. Has Stephen Furtick, whatever his name is, spoken out against this? Because he was really big, Elevation Church, big BLM guy about George Floyd. Has Stephen Furtick, the popular mega church pastor, has he spoken out against the black criminal who killed a white woman on a bus? Because he's in Charlotte.
You know, I haven't specifically checked on what Stephen Furtick has said, but it feels like if he did speak out, that would certainly be something making news in our area. And I have heard nothing about that. In fact, I have heard nothing from many of the
weird. That's strange.
Yes, from the social justice pastors who are very popular in this area. Derwin Gray is another. I have heard nothing from him. And so you have so many of these church leaders who got on board with Black Lives Matter. They got on board with these DEI policies. And now they have suddenly very much backed away from quote unquote political issues, now that we're starting to see the fruit of what these policies have borne. And it is actually the innocent citizens of North Carolina who are bearing the brunt of these policies.
Why is it that pastors were so quick to talk about the drug overdose of George Floyd, but they won't talk about this?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious why. You know, at that time, there was a desire to curry favor with the progressive wing, to be winsome. And so that's why they really want to appeal to the, I would say, the elite class of our society. And when they look at the elite class, they see the New York Times, the Atlantic, CNN, and those are the people who they want plaudits and applause from. And so those are the people that they will go out and appeal to. And yet, when you see crimes like this, where this, you know, horrific stabbing of an innocent young woman who came here from a war-torn country. And it actually turns out she probably would have been safer in her war-torn country than in a large American city. They go very, very quiet because that is not appealing to that particular urban upper class professional that they want to appeal to. So suddenly, you know, we had so much politics from these people prior to Donald Trump's election in 2025, and now we hear nothing from them. Now it's, let's not politicize the pulpit, even though, you know, this is a moment for pastors to speak into, because you have a community that is hurting, that is scared, and they want to know, you know, what are some of the answers to this kind of pain. And look, the Bible does have answers about justice. If a man like this had been incarcerated and punished as he should have been when he initially broke into people's houses, when he committed armed robbery, when he committed assault with a deadly weapon, then he wouldn't have been on the streets to commit these crimes. But they don't talk about those elements of biblical wisdom that tell us that the government exists to terrorize the unrighteous and the wicked, not to ensure that the innocent can be terrorized. And that's exactly what's happened in this situation.
So, Megan, you wrote this amazing book, Shepherds for Sale, all about how our pastors are selling themselves out to the highest bidder. On this racial issue, though, I know you've mentioned it. It's so frustrating because, again, we have a catalog of the current kind of Christian ruling class of what they did. Carl Lentz, who's obviously been disgraced. George Floyd should be alive. It's not acceptable to kill him, blah, blah, blah. Stephen Furtick. This is what Stephen Furtick said. He said, quote, he said, if you only post a simple prayer emoji and scroll on, we need to challenge the system and sickness that created and enabled the death of George Floyd. I am part of the problem, is what Stephen Furtick said. I mean, I could go through the list of just the nauseating Christian leaders, and what is it getting better? And how do we call out this from some of our Christian authorities?
You know, I don't know if I would say it's getting better. I haven't seen any of this leadership come out and say, you know what, we were wrong. And they were wrong because what they did was accept false narratives that we had a policing system in our country that disfavored Black Americans. And that's simply not true. The data does not show that. And so they were backers of policies that have now made us more unsafe and have led to incidents like the death of Irina Zarutska. And so what I have found mostly is that no one's really coming out and repenting of that. They're just trying to sweep it all under the rug and pretend like it never happened. I mean, look, I want to be clear. The president of the largest Protestant denomination in the US, the Southern Baptist Convention, told Southern Baptists that they needed to use the phrase Black Lives Matter, that they needed to lend that support to a Marxist organization that was trying to dismantle police systems. So there has been, you know, a real cost to that. They were out marching with these people. And now we see what that ideology and that policy has brought. I mean, we can see it in Chicago, we can see it in DC prior to a couple of weeks ago, and we see it even in previously very safe cities like Charlotte, where the homicide rate has exploded. So as we look at this, you know, it's really frustrating to me to see some of these pastors trying to pretend like they weren't a part of that. In fact, what you're kind of seeing them do now is reposition themselves, and they're using more conservative language. I have seen that. I can give you the example of someone like that as former SBC president, Pastor J.D. Greer, who pastors a large church here in North Carolina. You know, he was very much a part of backing social justice and Black Lives Matter. And now he's suddenly using more conservative language, but he's not acknowledging the part that he played in that. And that's what I'm seeing again and again, is that, you know, I think they know that there's egg on their face. But because of that, what they're doing is just trying to, they're calling it the Great Rehab Tour. They're all going on their Great Rehab Tours to sort of pretend like, hey, we weren't a part of that. And you will not hear them talk about Black Lives Matter or social justice anymore, even though they were so instrumental in promoting that movement back in 2020.
I think you're right. And it shows that we've made a lot of progress, but we still have yet a lot of work to do. And so the Christian world, I know, is becoming more center right. It's becoming better on this. Not every pastor has to comment on every issue. The reason why Stephen Furtick is necessary is that it's happened in his hometown.
Right.
And so he felt necessary to call out George Floyd in the streets of Minneapolis, but something that happened in his own city. And that is inescapably biblical. It says that your city matters, your nation matters, your hometown matters, and the welfare of such. Final thoughts, Megan Basham, author of Shepherds for Sale.
Well, yeah, and I really want to point out that when they did that, it didn't have no impact. They gave aid and comfort to a deceitful, destructive movement. And so those policies that came out of that deceitful, destructive movement are exactly what are making our cities unsafe right now. And that is why we are seeing things like young women being murdered on a light rail train just when they're trying to get off work and go about their business, because we dishonestly bought into something that was simply popular at the time. And that compromise comes with costs, and we're seeing that now.
Irina Zarutska would be alive. 14 times this guy was arrested. Felony larceny, aggravated assault with a weapon. Megan Basham. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. That is the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. Alex Marlowe is with us. Alex Marlowe is the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News, Breitbart.com. Alex, great to see you. The terrible news of Irina Zarutska getting stabbed in the neck and the sign.
You guys remember Andrew Breitbart? It was poisoned at a restaurant.
Silence from the media. I mean, you've done a
killed, assassinated.
Great job of covering the media throughout the years. This was an intentional cover-up campaign by not covering this at all from the major media networks. Yet George Floyd dies. Everyone covers this relentlessly, tens of thousands of articles a day. Alex Marlowe, your thoughts?
Yeah, Charlie, you couldn't have scripted this. I mean, it felt like this story was out of 15 years ago or something, that the media wasn't covering it after all of this purported hand wringing that's been going on, that they've been really looking themselves in the mirror, see where they've gone wrong, why the media is the least trusted industry of any industry in America. And then they have the easiest opportunity ever to get a little bit of credibility just by writing up the biggest story in America. And they won't even write it. They won't put one column inch into it in the New York Times and the Washington Post. Completely ridiculous, but it's something that we all could have seen coming. And it just shows you what we discussed on your show like 5 days ago, Charlie. This is shaping up to be a law and order election. The next election, as of now, it's a long ways off. Law and order is the #1 topic. And you could see a guy been arrested 14 times, a Ukrainian refugee out of nowhere. There's no context for it at all. There's no provocation at all. There's video of it. This is the nightmare for the left so long as we get the word out. And that's why the media covered it up.
A black criminal which assaults and stabs a white woman to death, and the media wouldn't be bothered. When George Floyd on the side of the street in Minneapolis, everyone decided this was the most important thing since Pearl Harbor. Vivek Ramaswamy, you're running for governor of Ohio. What are your thoughts of this situation and more broadly the crime issue in America?
Yeah, look, I mean, what happened in Charlotte's unconscionable, but at the same time, we wouldn't be talking about it here if it were just a one-off. This is part of a national pattern. You look at my hometown of Cincinnati, look at the incidents of just a few weeks ago, which share some of the same dimensions you just described, Charlie. You look at what's happening in places like New York City, where I am with Senator Scott today, to LA. This is something that represents a broader breakdown of respect for the rule of law in the country. And, in this broader conversation about who are we as Americans, that's a core part of who we are as Americans, is we believe in the rule of law. That's part of what founded this country. And the degradation of the respect for the rule of law, I think, is almost even more frightening than any one individual incident. And that's what we're going to have to turn around. Frankly, Ohio, where I'm looking to govern, we're a state of cities. You got Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, Toledo, Akron, Youngstown. It's sad to watch the cities in the heartland of the country to our coasts go down the tubes. But the good news is we know how to solve the problem. You were talking about some of it. Bring back actually sentencing standards that reflect the standards of the crimes. Bail should not be granted to somebody who is a repeat offender with ease and with, smooth as water now for many of these people to get back out. Juvenile crime is a major issue after the COVID school closures. Deal with the juvenile courts, even for people who are older juveniles, in ways that actually recognize violent offenders and even would-be criminals for what they are. Common sense, but what we're missing is leaders with the spine to see it through. That's a big part of why I'm running in Ohio. We're going to get it done in Ohio. And frankly, if places like New York or otherwise fail, we need bastions like Ohio, like Florida, like it's been in the past, for people to actually pack their bags and move. And that's what we're creating.
Senator Rick Scott from Florida is with us. Senator Scott, what is your take on this situation? And I do want to talk about New York here, but what can the U.S. acting as if the U.S. Senate's going to do anything, unfortunately, is laughable because, not you, but your colleagues are quite lazy. But theoretically, what could the U.S. Senate do to prevent repeat offenders like this from prowling our streets?
Well, first off, your heart goes out to this lady's family. You just imagine sitting on a train, all right, and then all of a sudden some guy starts stabbing you and killing you. If you think, Charlie, this bothers me so much. The biggest thing you can do, and I have 2 daughters, I have 7 grandkids, is you can't imagine anybody in your family in that situation. So what we've got to do at every level of government, whatever we can do at the federal level, whatever we can do at the state level, whatever we can do at the local level, we have to enforce our laws. We've got to put criminals in prison. They need to serve their entire sentence, right? We cannot be soft on crime. I want my family to be safe. I want your family to be safe and the next family to be safe. So what can the citizen do is for federal crimes, right? For federal crimes, make sure the sentences are stiff and people serve their time. On top of that, we need to help our local law enforcement every way we can. I'm very appreciative of what the president has done in D.C. What this guy's done, D.C. is a place where I didn't want to walk around. Nobody wanted to walk around in D.C. It's not safe to walk around in D.C. What he's done in D.C. is he's made it a place that you can walk around now. There's way more people outside now walk around in D.C. than there was before the president brought in the National Guard. But every mayor, every governor, and we've got to all say, this is the most important thing we ought to be doing right now. Keep people alive, keep people safe.
All right. Oh my God. Master's getting tired. It's been 2 hours and 33 minutes. What did I have this up here for? Cops chase child predators in semi-truck. It's only 13 minutes. Oh! Anyway, you guys, I'm getting cross-eyed here. Oh, Lord. It's been a great live. Thanks, Pac-Man. Oh, look at my doggy. Boy, you're a good boy. Matt's got chores to do. I've got to water all the plants. It takes me at least an hour. And yeah. Thanks you guys for being here. It's been a long one. Mab is about ready to sign out. I appreciate y'all coming by. And so I am going to get out of here and get my chores done so I don't get in trouble when Mrs. Mab gets home. So peace, and I will see you maybe tomorrow or the next day, but probably tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you on Turtle Island tonight. I'm awake. I'll be awake. I'll see you guys on Turtle Island. Peace.